Nothing makes sense. It's cold. Last week it was hot. Fall spring like a mother sucker. Our last frost date has passed, so I don't think it's gonna get like 35 or below degrees cold, but it's cold for me. Y'all know how I am. I covered one tomato, one still looks fine, and I left a bunch of stuff in the greenhouse. I also got some new stuff that I'm gonna show you guys. Everything still looks good. The beans look good. I'm gonna do a garden tour, but I'm just walking around my garden, checking it out. You know how I do in the mornings, and I was just thinking like, nothing makes sense. I think my dill is gonna go to seed. I have been harvesting it. Let me turn it around. I don't know. I think it is. It's getting like taller. It hadn't been tall like that. And I don't know. I feel like these are like a little more spread out than how it normally looks, but I could be imagining that. I've been harvesting and just putting them, hanging them in my laundry room to dry. I'm gonna get a little bit more today, but I want to leave enough to go to seed and attract beneficial insects and stuff. This will probably die all out when it gets too hot, but just like this year, hopefully when it starts cooling down, they'll come back. This is fern leaf dill, and I bought this and planted it, I think last year in the fall. It died when it got hot, and this all came back on its own this year, and you can see it's still spreading. So if I don't want it to spread out, like when I'm harvesting, I pull that whole thing out with its roots and just tie it up, because I think it spreads through the roots. They're all still connected to this one. Another thing that makes no sense is my cilantro. This is how you know it got hot, y'all. The cilantro is super tall now. Well, this is like carrots on it. You see it's length all over. And it is definitely wanting to go to seed. Well, today, like right now, it's like 48 degrees. And cilantro likes that kind of weather. But because it's already been hit with some hot weather, this cilantro's like, yeah, right. I'm out. Good thing I did have other ones. I have younger cilantro. So I have one here that should last a little longer. I have the ones over here that self-seeded. So this cilantro I bought, I think at Home Depot last year, planted it here and went to seed, and I let it just go to seed, and then these popped out. And then I have some younger cilantro, and look, this is another false spring thing. So my sweet potatoes, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I just leave them wherever they're gonna grow, and they pop out when they're ready, and that's what they did. But you can see some of it looks like it has frost damage on it, and then some of it looks kind of still new. So I'm gonna let it do what it do. I'm not gonna bother it until it warms all the way up. I'm not gonna even cut the frost damage off. But you can see right here in the corner, I did plant a new little baby cilantro in there. So I forgot the name of the channel, but I will put it below right here. I was watching him, and he called it coriander, but he was like, if you want to grow a lot of it, just keep planting it. Just keep, growing it. And I was under the impression like, oh, it likes to grow in the cold. And it's like, yeah, it might go to seed, but it's still going to grow. You'll still be able to harvest, from it and stuff. And then you can also use the seeds, which is coriander, which people cook with. So it's not necessarily just a bad thing if it goes goes to seed. But one other thing I want to show you guys, I have cilantro over here in one of my stackable planters, and this one is like kind of in the cut, like in the shade kind of. So I'm hoping that it doesn't get too hot over here. Okay, so I'm trying some new stuff. I'm trying to put the strawberries where they'll definitely get a lot of sun. This one, somebody was eating it, so that's why he looks like that. That one's doing pretty well. These are the newer ones. And then, so strawberries in the sunny sides and on the top. So there's one here. The two I planted here didn't do so well. I might try to put some more there. And I think even up here, I might put a strawberry here and there. And maybe like another herb in this middle part. But anyway, we came for the cilantro. This one seems to be doing pretty well, since I put it in this little corner spot. That spot doesn't get as much sun. I also have cilantro, which I heard was like has kind of the same flavors but a little bit stronger, but it grows well in the heat too, I think. So we shall see how that goes. But I'm learning a lot about fall spring, and it's so funny because I live in the South and everybody's like, oh, you guys have such a long growing season. I feel like we out here living on the edge. Okay, we living on the edge because the weather will tell us one thing and we out here like, can't you feel a brand new day? Bring out the tomatoes, bring out the pepper, baby. And now it's 48 degrees. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Look at my potatoes. These had to come out here anyway. They just needed to get out. They was looking funky and crazy. So I was like, if you grow, you grow. So they're growing. This one I think is doing well because they're still kind of like at the level of the grow bag. So they're not getting too cold. These, you can see, are having like a little bit of cold damage. So I'm documenting this for you guys and for me. This is kind of similar to my gardening journal for me, because I can go back and see, okay, on March 19th, you know, it was chilly this year. Now last year I was reading about the weather, and it did get kind of chilly like last week last year, but by this time it was a little warmer. But it just helps me as a gardener to watch my plants and know. I do have some peppers out right now that still look good. I have a tomato out that looks good, and I have one tomato that looked kind of cold, so I covered him up. And then I have some stuff in the greenhouse too. So I'm just coming from all angles trying to figure out, like, is it okay to bring them out? Who worked out? The covered ones? Did some of the uncovered ones work out? Does that mean I can plant a little earlier and it's okay? Because I don't think it's gonna get like freezing. I think that's what will stunt the plants that are already out here growing. But we'll see, and I will keep you guys updated. Thanks for watching. Peace.